I first became aware of Applied Digital in January, early January, when I saw some large corporations were making some purchases of its stock. It's a data center they have 3 data centers. Actually, there's 2 in North Dakota and 1 in Texas, and they got into it pretty much as a Bitcoin mining center, and now they are buying GPUs and getting into the game. And I saw these purchases, and let me share them with you. What I did was I asked my avatar to do some research and come up with the exact numbers, and I want him to share them with you, and then we'll take a little deeper look into Applied Digital.
Several large investors have recently bought shares of APLD. Capital Research Global Investors grew its position in Applied Digital by 427.2% in the fourth quarter. Capital Research Global Investors now owns 7,337,288 shares of the company's stock valued at $49,453,000 after acquiring an additional 5,945,559 shares in the last quarter. Equitech Proprietary Markets LLC grew its position in Applied Digital by 415.4% in the fourth quarter. Equitech Proprietary Markets LLC now owns 4,168,657 shares of the company's stock valued at $28,097,000 after acquiring an additional 3,359,845 shares in the last quarter. Nokomis Capital LLC grew its position in Applied Digital by 129.2% in the fourth quarter. Nokomis Capital LLC now owns 2,940,955 shares of the company's stock valued at $19,822,000 after acquiring an additional 1,658,003 shares in the last quarter. Vanguard Group Incorporated grew its position in Applied Digital by 40.6% in the third quarter. Vanguard Group Incorporated now owns 3,335,542 shares of the company's stock valued at $20,814,000 after acquiring an additional 963,390 shares in the last quarter. Finally, Oasis Management Co. Limited grew its position in Applied Digital by 23.6% in the fourth quarter. Oasis Management Co. Limited now owns 4,928,129 shares of the company's stock valued at $33,216,000 after acquiring an additional 940,075 shares in the last quarter. Institutional investors and hedge funds own 53.75% of the company's stock. Corporate insiders own 23.7% of the company's stock.
So that's what got me interested in Applied Digital, and around January 17th through the 19th, I bought 3,000 shares, and it has gone down because they have had some issues. They had a power outage in mid-January up in North Dakota, and thus they had several days when they literally could not do any processing on their computers. I listened to their earnings call, and they had some issues getting infinity bands from NVIDIA. NVIDIA they ordered the GPUs, they took delivery of some of the GPUs, and they had more on order, but they couldn't get the infinity band, and that is what the band, it replaces the Ethernet cable, which allows computers to interact with each other. So they postponed those orders, and they shared that on the earnings call, and then they had some, as a result of not being able to get the infinity band, they had a large tenant who was negotiating some large contracts, and they postponed that. And here I'll share the information on that with you.
Applied Digital Corporation continues to re-energize its Ellendale data center hosting facility as additional repairs and upgrades are made to its equipment. As the repairs and upgrades are completed, the company expects to ramp capacity over the quarter. The company currently estimates the impact of this downtime on the company's revenues will continue to be material until these repairs and upgrades are substantially complete. The reduced capacity has no impact on our high-performance computing hosting data centers under construction, which are being designed to provide higher levels of availability in accordance with industry standards. The reduced capacity also has no impact on our cloud services business, as those services are provided using third-party facilities. On January 15, 2024, the company entered into a conditional agreement to provide high-performance computing data center capacity at its Ellendale, North Dakota campus, subject to finalization of definitive lease documents. The conditional agreement is for a total of 100 MWs for a term of 10 years, with a total value of approximately $2.2 billion over such 10-year term. The conditional agreement is conditioned upon each party securing satisfactory financing for the completion of construction, with the ability of each party to terminate within 45 days, without penalty, if the condition is not satisfied. On March 5, 2023, the company has closed a previously secured loan agreement with the Bank of North Dakota and Cornerstone Bank for $16 million in site-level financing for its 10 MW Jamestown HPC data center campus. The company intends to use the loan, which has a 5-year term, to support its operations at the standalone data center, which will house graphics processing units, GPUs, and support various high-performance computing AI applications. Applied Digital announced on March 8, 2023, it has extended the original 45-day negotiation period announced in January on the conditional agreement with an anchor tenant to provide data center capacity at its Ellendale, North Dakota campus until March 30, 2024. The conditional agreement is for a total of 100 MWs for a term of 10 years.
Okay, so that brings you up to speed as to where I am on Applied Digital. I would add that I have then researched each of those companies that were mentioned earlier that have increased their position substantially in Applied Digital to see if subsequently in this quarter they're selling their stock and getting out of it and liquidating. And I cannot find that they are. What I see is a company that is positioned to take advantage of a tremendous growth in data center use with three data centers in place and under construction and a history of operation, but having difficulty getting the GPUs and the infinity bands from NVIDIA to kick this thing into high gear. I see that the investors have recognized this potential. I see that the banks in North Dakota and Texas have recognized the potential because they're willing to lend them the money to carry them over. Because if you look at their Altman ranking, they're close to bankruptcy, and so I'm looking at this and saying, here are some major investors who have major positions in this stock, roughly 53% ownership in it, a company that needs some help moving forward, and I think it's probably a 10xer. It's at $4. It's been as high as $40 some in the past, and it's in the space that is growing exponentially. So I'm holding my position. Two key dates would be the end of March, when this agreement with the attendant either gets initiated or gets canceled. And then the next key date is April the 4th, and that's their earnings call. I fully expect that they will miss their projected earnings on April 4th because of the power outages that they've had, because the difficulty they've had getting the infinity bands, because of the difficulty negotiating with a key tenant as to will they or will they not be able to deliver. But again, I look at the financial strength behind them with these large investors owning 53% of the business. They've got a stake in this. They want them to succeed so that they succeed. So that's Applied Digital. That's me. That's Kerry Grinkmeyer. This is how I research stocks. I dig down and try to find depressed stocks, figure out why they're depressed, and then analyze and say, is there a reason that they can grow exponentially after they've suffered this loss in price? This is exactly what is happening with AEHR and several other stocks that I'm following, that the overall semiconductor space has slowed down because of the lack of interest in EVs and the fact that AI is going to change all of our devices. So we're postponing buying new laptops and new desktops and new phones because we want that next generation of AI equipment. And that's slowing down the semiconductor business, which is giving me opportunities to find big stocks or good stocks that are going to grow, that are going to recover their losses as a result of this renewed interest in semiconductors as we move forward. Right now, the only thing that's holding this semiconductor business up is that of the data centers. And Applied Digital is one of those data centers that I think presents an astounding opportunity. I ask you to get on the bus, to join our team, help me research this even further, and let's see if this is in fact a exponential, a 10x or whatever. These data centers are going to be the key element of our existence in the future. I did a video yesterday about AI factories. That is to say that this artificial intelligence is an enormous field, but as we get deeper and deeper into it, there will be more specialization, and we will actually have data centers that are very explicitly dealing with one element of knowledge, such as there'll be a data center or many data centers that only deal with the area of medical. You saw Oracle went up substantially today. That's a result, I believe, of Oracle's work in bringing all the medical data together in one safe place, and I think that will be Oracle's place in this area. They will be a key player in the medical factory, AI factory of the future. And I think the market has recognized that, and that's why Oracle's up about 10-15% today. I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. This is the kind of research I enjoy doing, figuring out why is this happening, and how does that relate to it, and what is the next thing that's going to happen. And I think Applied Digital is a winner. You take a look at it. You come to our Stock Talks on Friday, and you tell me what you think. Talk to you again tomorrow.